Recording.
We're in the zone.
We are recording.
Auto zone.
All right. Who's starting off then?
I can pop and lock it if you want.
I love it. I'm probably gonna have a ring light in my glasses, but
It's all good. It's all right.
so good. So how are you? Getting tired of wearing your contacts? Like
Yes,
this,
yes.
like at the end of the night, I'm fucking done with them.
Yeah. They
So-
get very dry.
That's what it is, right? And I'm overdue for some new ones.
Yes.
And I had to cancel my last eye appointment, so like I can't order them until they'll drill.
Oh,
Right?
dude, it's such a pain in the ass.
It's
Where do
so-
you go for your contacts?
I used to. It's right on the fucking corner, and
Yeah.
that's why I canceled it because they moved their office to like West Hartford or something like that. I'm like, well, fuck that. So I'm just gonna find a new eye doctor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Danny said something. She's like, oh, like, the best feeling in the world is like when a girl she takes her bra off. She's like, it's like the best feeling. I said, no, taking your dry ass contacts out at the end of the day is the best fucking feeling in the world.
I mean, we don't have
Well,
tatas. so-
yeah, I couldn't imagine wearing a bra, but yeah.
But free balling is pretty free.
Free balls, yeah, it's pretty good. I just
Yeah.
free balled in the sun. As a matter of fact, do I smell by the way? Like you don't like smell me, right? You haven't noticed it?
No, I haven't noticed it.
All right, because I did. Fuck off. I did my plunge earlier because I went for a nice run today.
Yeah? How'd it feel? How far did you go?
Just about 7 miles.
Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Now, were you surprised at like it's only been a month or so, and you feel like you're already kind of losing some stamina
In my legs.
Yeah,
I was
Heavy?
not surprised, but yeah, like mile like 6, I was like, my legs are a little tired.
oh shit.
And like that's where I felt it. And then I got out like of the truck, was one of the stairs, like coming down like the trail.
Yeah.
And like my knees felt like almost unstable. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
man, like my legs are
Yeah.
down a little bit.
Wow, good for
But
you.
I was
7
happy to
miles.
get 7 miles in,
Fuck yeah.
and like my wind was great. I had no issues with my wind at all.
And it was cold today too, man.
It was
some
a little
wind.
cold, so
Yeah.
it was good to get back out there,
Yeah.
man. Actually, I
Yeah.
missed it.
Night.
I missed it.
You are.
I
officially
did, but I
running.
missed it.
Hey, dude, my buddy Tim, because I was like, just create me a marathon plan. I just want to see what it looked like.
Yeah,
And I said I could run Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, long run Sunday, Saturday.
Mhm.
And I'm like, let me see what I got,
Right.
what you can make there if I do a marathon in like May.
right.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
take
definitely
like-
doing another half.
Yeah, because like that's cool, man. Especially the long runs. And there's just something satisfying. I kind of want to do a triathlon, kind of change it up a little bit.
It'd be
You know?
interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and especially because it's like I'm not a very good swimmer.
Right.
Biking's pretty cool. I don't have like a fucking street bike, you know.
Yeah,
I got
right.
like a mountain bike,
Yeah.
but I also be like, fuck it, whatever.
Right.
I just want to experience like triathlon. And
Right.
if I like it, then maybe I'll spend money on getting a bike. But
Yeah.
I feel like you got to do something to challenge yourself
That's-
physically and mentally every year.
I think that's what I miss the most about it. I
Mhm.
think, like I love the like freeing of your mind when you're running.
Yeah.
That's awesome, obviously, but it was like gearing up for that, and like it was nice today to kind of just run and I didn't worry about time. Actually, I never even checked what my mile time was,
Mhm.
but like I just didn't have to worry about that. It was like
Yeah.
it's a nice. I had a good pace the whole time, but
You were just going for a
I just
jog,
went
going
for a
for a
run,
run,
man.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
I missed
Hey.
it. I missed it. I'm gonna keep doing it now too because I
Give it
fucking
credit.
missed it. All right,
You ready?
I'm ready. You want to kick it off? You said.
Yeah, here we go. Ready? Welcome back, everybody, to the Model Mindset. Today's going to be a great episode, and we have to give credit where credit's due. When we had our guest Eric DaCosta on from the Quinnipiac University men's soccer coach, he said something to us that really resonated with us, and that was brain fart. Woo! Already.
What did he tell us?
Fuck me. You win and you learn. Okay, we'll pick it up.
You're either winning
Yeah.
or you're learning.
He said you're either winning or you're learning. And that really stood out to us.
Yeah.
And so we said, hey, you know what? Let's dive a little deeper into that.
Yes.
That was some nuggets of gold.
It was,
in that
and and I don't think it's the first time I've heard it, which means it's probably not the first time you've heard it.
Right.
The context he was talking about it in was really cool, just with the people he works with and with the kids he works with and stuff. That's a valuable lesson he obviously tries to teach them. But it applies everywhere in our lives, so.
Yeah.
And we see that on a daily basis and on a regular basis when we're challenging ourselves to try these new things, and because we certainly had to learn shit's not going to go our way all the time.
Right.
Like, it's just not. And that was a hard pill to swallow at first, though.
Absolutely.
Because if you're working so hard and you're aiming for perfection and you fall short of it, you're going, well, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? I did all the work. Why didn't I get the payoff? You know?
The ego. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. The ego, too, for sure. So, I mean, we don't like the word failure.
Right.
More so you,
Yeah.
right? You're a big proponent of not. So I try not to use it just because I know you don't like it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, let me try to see in my mind what else I can use for that word then, right? Just
like
I'm more aware
roadblocks.
around it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do lose,
Yes.
right? It just happens.
It's the way of life.
So there's lessons in both, obviously, in winning and losing. Do you feel there are more lessons in winning or losing?
So winning, that's where you gain confidence, right? Losing, that's where your confidence can diminish.
Yes. Yep.
Success also leaves clues, right? But I also feel that when you are winning, complacency can come with that too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about this quote: "If it's not broke, don't fix it."
Mm-hmm.
And that can become problematic, especially if you're in a business or if you've been in a career for a long time. You get comfortable, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But in the losses, that is when you tend to learn most. And you can say, okay, how do I build resiliency from this? What did I learn from this? What can I take away? How can I create a new path and learn from what went wrong?
Yeah.
You know, I do think there are definitely valuable lessons in winning, but I think there are more lessons and more valuable lessons in the losses because they can be your best teaching methods, you know.
For sure. Yes. Yeah. I love what you said. Success leaves clues. That's like it's a really interesting thing to think about. It's really interesting. So like what clues do you think that success would most likely leave for people?
I would say when it actually goes your way,
Yeah.
you can kind of lean on that maybe
Mm-hmm.
till kind of the wheels fall off, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think also you can find out what's working.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said before, you may ride that out for a while, and I think that's where companies may, fall short, or that's where if they don't evolve, you like a Blockbuster, right? They were the cream of the crop for such a long time. Then all of a sudden Netflix came out. They didn't evolve with the times. They closed.
Evolve or die.
Right.
Evolve or perish, right?
So I think that's the same thing with winning. You can win for so long, but if you don't start to kind of evolve, that's when you'll probably start to lose, or you might lose momentum.
I like that.
Right? And that's when you really do need to start learning.
Yeah.
From those little knockdowns.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So like those clues then are kind of like teaching you different ways to succeed.
Yeah.
Like because of that same path of success will not always be there.
Yeah.
So in those wins that you get, find the different things that were able to work to get that win. Because again, you're evolving or you're perishing.
Right. I mean, we could even use it in like our business, with speed and agility coaching, right? If we crushed a camp, we'd look at, okay, what did we do right there?
Yep.
Right? Let's take those same marketing methods, that same mentality into another camp.
Yeah.
And see if we can get those same results. If we don't, then hey, we then learn from that loss.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think you touched on it. There's real value in the lessons through losing, though.
Yeah.
There, in my opinion, that's if I was to answer the same question, I would say losing for sure. And once you develop the ability to accept you won't win at everything, losing will provide you with lessons that winning it just can't.
Right.
And I put down here, losing promotes change. Change promotes growth.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time, you have to be comfortable with the idea of changing. There's that, again, I mentioned it I think before at some point, but every time I see and hear the word change, I think of this Butterfly is looking at the caterpillar, and the caterpillar says to the butterfly, "Man, you've changed." And the butterfly says, "Yeah, you're supposed to." And it's everybody can be afraid of that, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when you lose, you're obviously not going to do the same thing again, right? So you're going to have to adapt and change. That's, I think, the biggest lesson in losing is learning how to change.
Now, I mentioned something before when I said losing tends to take a blow to the ego. Confidence goes down a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you not let your confidence get so tarnished that you stop trying?
In the losses? Yeah. Listen, there's going to be that moment, and it's always in the immediate, right? I'm not of someone who believes that the second you lose, you have to just be gung ho and ready to go for the next challenge, right?
And we're not saying that either.
That's not what losing is, right?
Yeah.
The lesson will come in time, and that's what people, I think, if they're hearing this, those things aren't immediate. It's just, losing. You don't immediately follow losing with changing and getting ready for the next thing. You have those moments of reflection.
Yeah.
Right.
You could be pissed.
You should be pissed.
Sad. You
should be sad. You know what I mean? Like those are emotions you should feel.
Right.
Because that means you care.
Yes.
If you didn't have those emotions and you lost, you didn't care.
Yeah.
Right. And this is very simple. This is a very, very basic take. But I've played competitive men's league softball for like 15, 20 years now. Yeah. Okay, since I was like 16, 17, I've been playing. I'm 34 now. This past year, I did not care if we won, if we lost, how the game went, didn't care. I am not playing next year. I don't care. I don't there's nothing for me there anymore. Right? So obviously there's
more of a burden than fun.
That's it. So now the challenge is gone. There's no lesson behind it. I'm done. I'm washing my hands of it for multiple reasons, but that's it. And I'm done with it. So like for me now, and for anyone listening, if you're losing in things you don't care about, there's going to be no lessons.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you should care. That's I think the ultimate thing about what we're trying to say here. It's those lessons come in time.
And I think that's well said. As far as you're not just going to experience a loss and be fine.
Yeah.
Like you may, depending on if you saw it coming, but it can take time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're not saying that, you experience a loss, whether it be a financial loss or, a marriage falls apart or something. No, take some time, reflect on it, really feel those emotions. It's fine, but when you are ready, I think it's smart to really start to dissect what you learn from that, because no matter the traumatic experience, no matter what you go through, there's always going to be something that you can learn from that.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about now having to change when you lose. You're going to change it up. You're going to find new ways, right? If we're not trying to do new things, though, and we have an audience or we have people who aren't comfortable with that in themselves yet, listen to this stuff, apply these things, and you will be.
Yeah.
But you're not comfortable trying new things yet. How are people learning, right? How are people learning and interpreting how to learn things? Learn the lessons, I should say, right? Because if you're not winning, you're learning.
Yeah.
How are you learning then?
Well, I feel like, so with that question, I almost picture someone with a fixed mindset, and they're almost bothered by having to learn something new. And my mind goes into, like, for work, if they have to learn a new program, if they have to learn a new system or something, if they have to learn a new task, it will be bothersome.
Yeah.
Especially because you probably don't care.
Right.
So to me, when I hear that question, it was almost like a fixed mindset. You tend to not really want to learn something new. It's more of a nuisance, But if you are going to want to try new things, and risk, take some risks,
Mhm.
right? And start out with some hobbies. Something small.
Yep.
Just so you can kind of dip your toe in the sand, especially if you were someone that really has low self-confidence. Start off small with hobbies, something that's going to give you energy and passion. That's when you have a low risk factor,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So if you want to start picking up painting, the risk is very minimal,
Right.
right? But if you want to pick up something that's like playing the piano, and then your goal is to play, a Thursday night at some sort of bar or something like that, the risk may be low attendance.
Yeah.
Maybe you mess up a couple songs, but whatever, turns out pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Confidence goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say probably start there for anyone that's kind of living in their comfort zone. What about you?
Yeah, just to piggyback off that real quick, man, like we talk about the passion, like find things you're passionate about, things that are new, this and that. Listening to a few things today, actually, a word kind of kept getting used, and it was exciting. And use things that excite you.
Yeah.
When you're trying new things. Use things that, like you said, will have a passion, but like you just want to do more of.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, I really like that. I want to do that again. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff that's an easy starting point, because a lot of those exciting things come from hobbies.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of times people don't actually partake in hobbies because their lives are so busy. But it's just carve out some time to yourself.
Yeah.
Have an open conversation with your spouse to where it's like, hey, I need this day at this time for me, where I just have got to do this, whether it be yoga, anything.
Yeah.
And of course, we're saying like a healthier hobby,
right?
Not going out and getting shit faced, but
right.
Something that's really going to give you energy.
Yep.
And the thing too about a hobby is you can try multiple things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where you would find something that's going to give you energy.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
Exactly. And if you're not trying new things, you're not doing all of these new things, I think what people oftentimes will fall back to are like learned behaviors of the people around them,
mm-hmm.
right? And that's how they feel they're learning their lessons,
mm-hmm.
and that's how they feel they're able to obtain new information. When in reality, it has to come from your life experiences, because it's for you, right?
Yeah.
And the more we learn about these things, and we can apply certain things that we hear as far as tools for us to navigate a lot of this stuff, we're still experiencing things for ourselves though.
Yeah.
And we're going to get things, and we're risking failure, right? The F word. We're risking losing. But what we're never risking is learning the lesson.
Right.
Whether we win or we lose. And we know that now, because it's through our life experiences, not anyone else's.
And it dampens fear.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yes.
So it's more like we may have a little bit, I'm not going to say, we might be a little nervous,
mm-hmm.
but we know, change that, reframe it to be exciting.
Yep. Yep.
But we also know, hey, what's the best possible thing that can come from this?
Absolutely.
Another opportunity or something.
That's it.
Or lessons.
Exactly.
So it makes it less, you're definitely not as fearful going into whatever it may be.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you're afraid now to have the lesson behind failure, you're never going to have the experience. And like you said, experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to really work for and provide yourself. You need to create that for yourself though. Like the experiences don't get created for you. You create them, right?
Yeah.
And we love the quote, life qualifies you.
Yeah.
Because you can learn 1,000 lessons through a textbook, right? And you can learn 1,000 lessons in a classroom and have degrees that say you've learned all these lessons. But there are no lessons like going out there and getting shit done yourself.
Yeah. And
that's where you become qualified for things.
100%.
So don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. I love how you said it dampens it. That's a nice term for it.
Yeah.
You have to try and experience these new things to learn the lessons without the fear of failure.
Yes.
You cannot be afraid of it.
Yeah. So where do we struggle the most in accepting failures and viewing them as lessons?
I think overall, a general consensus answer would probably be in relationships.
Ooh, that's a
Would
good
you
one.
agree?
That's 100%.
Okay.
And this is
Go ahead.
firsthand experience.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, when my engagement fell apart, there for a long time I did not see any lessons in that.
Yeah.
You know, it was a tough loss. It was a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me, and this is where we were talking about when we first started the podcast,
Mhm.
is it can take time to see the lessons.
Oh yeah.
And it took me a couple years to finally start to actually, like, I would say, heal and really dive into, okay, what did I learn?
Yeah.
And when I started to unpack what I learned, healing began. So it was like I forgave her, but then it was like, okay, what do I want in my next relationship?
Yeah.
Who do I see myself with? Who do I want to be?
Yep.
And it was much easier for me not to like settle.
Mhm.
I knew exactly what kind of person I was going for.
Yep.
And I was ready, man.
Yeah.
And because before that, like when I tried, and I use the word tried dating, I always had a guard up.
Mhm.
And I don't think it was because I was fully healed, and I don't think I actually knew what I wanted in a woman.
Gotcha.
But when I took the time to actually say what lessons I got from that, now what do I want to carry to a next relationship, it was very clear to me. And I think
Interesting.
that's where lessons can come, or, you know, when you have a failure in a relationship,
Yeah.
when you have, you know, a breakup or something.
Yeah.
It's okay if it takes time to heal, but
Yeah.
I highly recommend you unpacking what you learned, what you didn't like from that relationship,
Right.
maybe what you did like, if there was anything,
Right.
and then understand what you want to do or what you want to become for the next relationship or what you're looking for.
Yeah. I think too, there's always a hidden lesson in like your past relationships, and we just glance over them because we just, that didn't work out. Someone was at fault for something, right?
Because there's a lot of bitterness with that.
Of course,
you know?
you know. So we kind of glance over the lessons a lot of times. I think comfort is a big lesson to be learned. Just because you're comfortable, it doesn't mean you're thriving.
Right.
You know what I mean? And your relationship should be thriving.
Yeah. Your partner should be bringing out the best in you.
Exactly.
They shouldn't be suffocating you.
Exactly, right? And you shouldn't be sacrificing anything in your relationship for comfort.
Yeah.
And the fear of seeing what else is out there.
Mm.
And but listen, we're not encouraging anyone to you know, do anything you don't want to do. I'm just saying, right, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm just saying in the sense of, I have immense comfort in my relationships.
Same here.
But my relationship is fucking thriving.
Yeah.
I have a great marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because we take time to work on it, because we do things together, because we communicate, you know what I mean?
Growing together.
Because we trust each other. We trust the people that we keep in our circle. Like, everything is very right and tight.
Yeah.
But if you're in a relationship and you're going through the motions because it's comfortable and easy, there's a lesson there.
Yeah.
You're right. You're sacrificing things for comfort. What's the lesson in the sacrifices that you're giving up?
That's good.
So relationships are a huge one, I think.
I agree with that 100%.
We're parents.
Yes.
There's certainly things we don't do right as parents.
Oof. And you know, I don't know how you feel about this, but man, some of the, you know, we keep saying failures, but some of the failures as a parent, man, they can really knock you down.
Oh yeah.
Whether it be your kids not following directions,
Mm-hmm.
and you take it personal, and then you lose yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know, you let your emotions get the best of you.
Yeah.
And you know, you tend to kind of beat yourself up about it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And you don't take time to see the lessons there.
Yeah.
I will say, you know, because we constantly are listening to podcasts and trying to learn
Right.
stuff. I mean,
Right.
I listened to one today. It was from Mind Pump podcast, and Adam, I forget what his last name was. He was very good on it, and he was talking about, you know, just taking time to get to know your child. And he said 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Just, you know, it could be an activity like you're coloring together, but you're telling him or her, hey, this time I just want to get to know you better. You know, and you're just asking questions. Hey, what's your favorite color? Why's your favorite color?
Mm.
You know, today actually at dinner, because we always eat dinner together,
Mhm.
I said, Theo and Charlie were right there. And so I was saying to Theo, hey, who's your favorite superhero? And he would say Black Panther. And I was like, oh, I thought it was Spidey.
So I say Spidey's everywhere in the house.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I like Spidey. And I was like, well, what about Hulk? And he's like, oh, I like Hulk too. And then so I said, well, what do you like about them? And he's like, you know, I'm like, is it because they're nice and they help people? And he's like, yeah, I really like that. And they capture bad guys. He's like, yeah. And so I was helping him along, but I was just trying to take time. And it was funny because I noticed the look in his face where he was like eating, and then when I was asking his questions, he would look up
Mm-hmm.
and like was really engaging.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just cool, you know, because oftentimes, because of either the stress that we have from our day or the amount of work that we have, then plus we come home and we have the stress of, you know, making dinner,
Yeah.
you know, and being a parent.
Right.
It's tough.
It
It's
is.
tiring. Okay.
Yep.
But being a parent is one of the most rewarding things that life can be for you.
Yeah.
And if you continue to look at the bad in it, you're just going to see, you know, loss after loss after loss, instead of just taking time to reflect and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I had a bad day today.
Yeah.
Not their fault. Apologize to them. I'm a big proponent on apologizing to your kid when you fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I will literally look in my son's eyes, both of them, and say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy shouldn't have, you know, yelled at you.
Yeah.
And we'll hug.
Yeah.
He understands that.
Yeah.
And, you know, slow down. Understand that, yeah, being a parent is tough.
It
Give
is.
yourself some grace. But at the same time, understand that you have some amazing kids,
Oh yeah.
you know, and take time to get to know them.
Yep. And I think too, man, a lot of lessons we can learn as parents are when we reflect on when we were kids ourselves. So you told a really great story a while back about how you made a poor decision getting behind the wheel after drinking.
Mhm.
And you said that you were taking that with you through your parenthood to make sure your boys know, you call me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that was a lesson that you learned at a young age that you will carry with you through your parenthood.
100%.
And I thought that was very interesting when we were kind of thinking about this. I'm like, that's exactly what he talked about 5 months ago, you know? And I think we don't, like you said, give ourselves enough grace, right? We were kids once.
Yeah.
What lessons now did you learn as a kid that you look back as adults and tell yourself you were a dumb kid, right?
Right.
Use those to help you as a parent.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the lessons are. The lessons are in your failures as a kid, whether it was with trust, responsibility, just decision making, whatever it is. Those failures that you had as a kid and those losses you had as a kid, use them because you obviously learned from them and grown from them to teach your children.
Yeah. I mean, that's spot on, man. And you know what, too, because, you know, just making me think about that as well. You know, I think I touched on this in a podcast episode before, but I always wanted, you know, my dad in particular to come to me and just kind of ask me how I'm doing, poke and prod, if you will.
Yep.
Because I wasn't going to come to him and just tell him if I was struggling in anything.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's like kind of the man, the stereotype,
Yep.
if you will.
Yep.
Not showing weakness, and I really needed that. So what I've also learned, like lessons, is creating, and I always had a safe environment, safe home. I loved it, but also creating a safe environment at home where they know that communication is always open. Right? There's not going to be fear of, oh, dad's coming home.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It should be like, oh, dad's coming home.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
if there is fear behind that, then I'm doing something wrong.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So how do we stay mentally resilient when we experience a loss? Like you kind of asked this before, right?
Yeah.
But there's a difference between not being down on yourself and then being resilient, right? So we said you can be down.
Yeah.
But then how do you find resilience on the back end of that now?
So I'm huge in journaling.
Yes.
I think we all know about this.
We do.
And I think when you're ready, when you feel or if there is a lot of emotions in it, start a journal, right? Write about your loss.
Yeah.
Evaluate and identify what actually caused the failure, right? A lot of times we may let our ego get the best of that and come up with excuses. What was within your control?
Yeah.
What was out of your control? And anything that's out of your control, make note of that.
Yeah.
But understand anything that was in your control, own it.
Yeah.
Take accountability and dissect that, where you could have gotten better,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And then create a plan, okay? Accept that the only thing that you can control is the future.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you need to make sure that you're developing a plan that takes into account this recent, we'll call it challenge or roadblock or failure.
Okay.
So that when you are attempting again or trying again, you're accounting for that lesson, right? This is a huge one. And I think a lot of people, some people may take advantage of this, some people may not. Make a list of your resources. Make a list of your network, right? There are people out there, and I think a lot of people will be surprised of how many people are willing to help. If you go through a loss, if you go through a challenge or roadblock, if you have some resources that are in your space, write them down and just email, text them, whatever, and just say, hey, just went through something, would love your perspective. Do you have 15 minutes? Guarantee you,
yes,
they would be like, yeah, absolutely, no problem.
1000%.
And I guarantee you that perspective would be huge.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course. It's your support group.
Yeah.
It's your support group. And like, and I have here in my notes, man, and I'll get to it in a second, but talk about it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's huge.
We're oftentimes so embarrassed by our losses that we are not willing to unpack them because it embarrasses us, which is totally normal.
Yeah.
Okay? But when we talk about it and we reach out to our support groups, you will then realize how many people want you to win.
Yeah.
People want you to win. Like,
and they may even offer you a resource too if they're not the right resource.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like there is a very big, and I think you and I make an effort to try to advertise it, if you will, not hide it, maybe is a better way to put it. There is a very big advantage to showing your imperfections and vulnerability.
Oh yeah.
I think it provides people a better sense of understanding, but it also is, in a weird way, charming. People find that endearing.
Yeah.
Where when you're kind of just like, fuck that one up. You know what I mean? Or like, whatever it is.
Because
like,
you're being authentic. And then
exactly.
I think other people can be like, oh, phew, I'm not the only one.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And we talked about that with Nora. We had a good conversation with that with her.
Yeah.
She's just so raw and herself that we asked her that question and we kind of were just like, yeah, well, we see you do all this funny stuff. Like, that makes us feel comfortable trying to branch out and do some different things too.
Yeah.
So it's contagious. It's charming. People kind of gravitate towards it. Right? 100%. Like that's a very real thing. But it takes a little bit of a hurdle to get over that. Like, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Like, you know, either I fucked that up or I lost on that. I felt okay. You know what I mean? But like, you can be sad. How do you get resilient? You hit it, nail on the head. Your support group.
Yeah.
Talk about it with your support group. They want you to win.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
And you said it, your support group.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it to other people that are not supportive of you.
Right.
Because they will beat you down and they will make you feel like shit.
Exactly.
So make sure you're aware of that.
If you would never come to them for advice, fuck their opinion.
Exactly. So John, how do we accept the loss as a learning experience rather than a failure?
Embrace self-reflection. And I say this as someone who was never super big on self-reflection. I just kind of left it in the rearview mirror and kept it moving. now, especially through like meditation and stuff, I'm very, very big on self-reflection. I think you oftentimes find things out about yourself you never knew when you self-reflect.
Oh yeah.
And especially on the losses and the failures. You have to, and we talk about it and say in the terms of talk to yourself like you would talk to your best friend.
Yeah.
And what we mean by that is sometimes your best friend needs a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Right? Your best friend sometimes just need to be comforted and you comfort them. Sometimes they need a kick in the ass.
Yeah,
and you kick them in the ass.
Tough
right?
love. Yeah,
sometimes you tell them how it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just listen, right?
Yeah.
All those different things provide and do for yourself in self-reflection.
Yeah.
And those are avenues now to really find acceptance. Because you're gonna realize and understand how we just talked about people want you to win. You're gonna come to an understanding that you're not gonna always win. And you're gonna finally come to an understanding of there's no black and white here. Like there's no overall answer to the loss you had, right? You're searching for the why did it happen? I can't, is it gonna happen again? Why me? Self-deprecation, all that stuff. It's not black and white though. You're living in gray in that point. But you have to find that tone, that shade that works best for you now. And you're going to find that through self-reflection.
Do you think you have to be like okay to fail? Like, because and what I mean by that is I feel like we are almost not necessarily afraid to fail, but we're okay if things go awry.
I think we're learning more now, I think, than before that it's okay.
Yeah.
Because before, you're so hungry you're so, and not that we're not now, but like you're naive.
Yeah.
And when some things are new to you, there's obviously going to be a sense of being naive about it. That when you have to learn it ain't all roses, and there's a lot of thorns with those roses, then it's tough.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's easier now because I think we see this.
Yeah.
Because if shit doesn't go our way, the first thing we do is unpack it.
Yeah.
Like we sit there and go, that sucked.
Yeah.
Like that did not go the way we wanted. We didn't get the response we wanted. Whatever, right? The engagement wasn't great. However things go. But we immediately go, all right, why? Let's unpack why. And I think that's an absolute crucial thing to kind of find acceptance.
What I think helps too is we both are optimisms. We
Yes.
both have an optimistic
people,
approach.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think that's very helpful to bounce back from a loss because we are able to look at it like, okay, maybe it didn't work out, but what can we learn from this so that we can not do that or do something different, either whether it be camp, speaking engagement, what have you. But I think having that optimistic viewpoint is very helpful.
Yeah. Celebrate the wins too.
Yeah.
Like I think
along the journey,
right? Like I think that's such a huge thing, and a lot of times it gets glanced over because especially like in this field or whatever you want to call it, it's just like put your head down and work.
I know, dude. And I'll say this. I feel like I have gotten to that where it's like you just go.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've got to do a better job of literally reflecting on the wins.
Yes.
Because if you're not reflecting on the wins along the way, you're really doing a disservice because you're not enjoying the journey. That's where enjoyment comes from, is the journey.
Yeah, that's where the lessons are in the journey. And I think when you're not enjoying the wins, you're forgetting what it feels like to win.
Yeah.
Like the chase of it, right? Like you win and you have that feeling. What does that make you want to do again?
Yeah.
Chase it again. Like I want that feeling again, but I want it more.
Yeah.
Like I want more of that feeling. And I want it in a greater capacity this time. But if you're winning and going, cool, next, like that drive,
Yeah.
it's
You're just like checking a box.
you're just moving in a direction now. You're moving in is where does it sound? You're moving in a direction with no direction.
Mm.
So it's a interesting feeling to have to find the good in losing, right?
Yeah.
This isn't some eternal optimistic bullshit where
Yeah.
it's always rainbows and sunshine. We're not those dudes. Like we're
Yeah.
really not.
Yeah.
But we are people now because we've practiced it over and over and over again to say, all right, let's unpack this. What did we learn? How can we apply it next time? Because we've accepted that we're still relatively new at this.
Yeah.
So give yourself the grace.
You're gonna eat a lot of shit sandwiches.
Yep.
You know, but understand when you eat those shit sandwiches, as bad as they may taste,
Yeah.
there's definitely going to be some sort of experience that is going to be valuable,
Yep.
and it's going to make you a better person.
Yeah, for sure.
And the thing too about life, experiencing all of what life has to offer is going to be our greatest teacher.
Yeah.
Right? And not only do we find out what doesn't work along our journey so we can adjust our future attempts, but we learn about ourselves in the process.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest lesson.
Yeah, for sure. And a cool quote we found in this was Thomas Edison. He said, "I've never failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." I thought that was a really great way to put it. So
yeah.
we hope this was helpful. We hope something that was said today was helpful to you guys. If you think it was, please do us the favor. Share the episode with a friend. Share it on your socials. Share it with the mailman. It doesn't matter who.
Share it.
Just share it. We hope you enjoyed it. We love hearing from you guys about the stuff we're putting out. We got plenty more down the pipeline. We will catch you guys on Monday for Model Mindset.
Monday.
Catch you guys there. So that was fucking exquisite.
That was good. That was good. Man, that was just like a conversation. You know what I was thinking too? You know that mindset guy, DJ? What is